Good evening. It's nice to be with you again, isn't it, Ronnie?
Yes, it is. And in a packed programme tonight, we shall find out what it's like to act as a stand-in for Raquel Welch in a special interview with Yul Brynner and Telly Savalas.
Then we'll hear the band of the Royal Cross-Eyed Dragoons, who'll play the dance of the Sugar Plum Sailor, followed by What Shall We Do with the Drunken Fairy?
And we'll even be talking to a man who crossed a food mixer with a nymphomaniac with a lisp and got a girl who'll whisk anything.
But first the news. Uganda. At the state dinner to welcome the German delegation today, General Amin ate a hamburger, 2 frankfurters, and 3 young men from Heidelberg.
The government have at last announced their plans for shortening the dole queues. They're asking the men to stand closer together.
Despite the strike of car delivery drivers at British Leyland, the 1,000th car rolled off the assembly lines at 4 o'clock today and fell onto a heap of 999 other cars.
Go on, clap if you want to. In the surgical ward of a London hospital today, a man complained that he was given the kidney of a giraffe and the liver of a female baboon. And for afters, he had prunes and custard.
The man who invented the zip fastener was today honoured with a life peerage. He'll be known as Lord of the Flies. And now a sketch about 2 workers in a ball bearing factory, in which I play a man who loses his bearings.
And I play a man who loses his temper.
This is nice.
It's rather nice, isn't it?
It's funny we've never seen it before.
Well, I don't think it's been open awfully long, but I...
Yes.
Yes, it's,
Yes?
Well, we'd like a meal, please.
2, is it?
Yes.
Have you booked?
No.
Well, I suppose I can fit you in here if you like.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Sorry. Yes?
Could we have a look at the menu, please?
A bleeding men, you know.
Nice thought.
Oh, look! The menu's shaped like a rook.
It's the name of the restaurant, isn't it? Complete Rook.
No, it's written sort of more differently, isn't it? I don't know.
Yes.
Eh?
No, sorry, I'm talking to my friend. Now, look, there's rook patty here. Rook patty. Do you recommend the rook patty?
Only when we've got a lot we want to get rid of.
Well, it's honest, at least.
What about soup of the day?
What is the soup of the day?
Rook soup.
I expect it's nicer than it sounds.
Bleeding isn't. It's worse it sounds. Have you ever had camel's liver marinated in rain for 5 days and then strained through a balaclava helmet by a pregnant yak?
Yes, I think we had that in Morocco, didn't we?
Oh, surely not, darling.
I'm not being serious. We didn't have it in Morocco. It was Tunis, wasn't it? No. Tell me, why do you ask?
Well, rook soup's worse than that.
Why do you recommend it?
Well, it's going off. Bleeding freezes on the blink again.
Look, I think the best idea is going to be to choose the main course, and then sort of build round it, really.
Yes, good idea.
Then you know where you are. Because you find that, there's roast rook, braised rook, steamed rook, stuffed rook. What is this? La cornet bouillie à la mode de Toulouse.
Boiled rook.
Doesn't seem to be the sort of restaurant to come to if you don't like rook.
Not the sort of restaurant to come to if you do like rook.
Why is that?
We serve bloody awful tough old rooks, that's why. All full of lead shot, break your teeth on them, terrible business.
Still, I expect the chef has a magic touch with them.
Magic touch? Magic touch? What a chef. Don't make me laugh. Too much of that. He's riff-raff, he is. Too much of that. Too much of that. Rubbish. I'm the only bloke that keeps the tone of this place up here.
Tell me, what is this? This fascinates me here. Coeur de Corneille Nantua.
That's 2 rook's tails stuffed in a shrimp sauce.
You must admit you haven't got a very varied menu.
Nothing to crow over. I'm awfully sorry, but I read in the Reader's Digest an article on how to relieve tense situations with humour.
Why don't you try it?
You can make your ready minds up or not. I've got a lot of people waiting to serve it.
I tell you what, why don't we start with the sweet and work backwards?
That's better, I think. Now, look, we've got ice cream there, ice cream there. Tell me, what kind of ice cream is this?
Rook and raspberry ripple.
Well, I'm going to plump myself for the rook cocktail, followed by roast rook with the rook meringue.
So will I.
That bleeding time and all.
We could just walk out.
Oh, I don't like doing that.
It's a complete rook.
Well, the name of the restaurant told us that, dear. We can't sue them under the Trade Descriptions Act. I mean, it's... we can't...
Sorry, rook's off.
What?
Rook's off.
Oh, right, we'll go somewhere else. Thank you very much for all the trouble. We'll probably pop and have a little Chinese down the river.
We've got a bit of stewed tortoise left, if you want that.
Stewed tortoise? Well, why didn't you say? We'll have stewed tortoise for 2. Lovely.
Oh.
Yum, 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 yum.
2 dinners. Good evening. Hello, Scotch way and up your haggis. I'm Scottish, by the way. My name is Wee Willie McGobbles of the clan McGobbles. My grandfather was the McGobbles of McGobbles, especially after the operation. Now, I am the president of the Institute of Scottish Tourism, or PIST. Now, how do you get to bonnie Scotland? Well, let's just take a wee look at the map here. And there you are, you see. First is the old-fashioned scenic route over the braes of Altasporan by way of the Quilt of Skelt, the tiles of boot, the piles of toot, and the quarts of milk. To Innisculty, where old Angus McFungus can be found, flashing his sporran, tossing his caber and cocking his leaky. Down at the Elephant and Haggis Inn, with Inverness Lale and others of that ilk. He will row you across in his Gaelic skiff for the price of a packet of cigarettes. £5.73p. Smokes Balkan Sobrani and buys them by the gross. Now, you'll be wanting to take the road to the Isles. Now, you go up by Bannockburn, where in 1314 the patriot Robert the Bruce and his gallant clans routed the treacherous, lecherous English rabble who were sent to pillage our native homelands, the illiterate, drunken, murderous thugs. You'll be sure of a warm welcome there. You're going to visit the Bannockburn Inn, where you can stand with your back to the fire and get your bannocks burned. And you drive on past the modern fields of Flodden to the sodden field of Culloden. You'll find a souvenir shop you can buy Dr. Hamish Kinley's book of Scottish portraits, known as Dr. Kinley's Facebook. There's the great Scottish chef Macaroni, who invented McTurtle soup. There's the Celtic murderer Jock the Ripper, and the famous fisherman Jock the Kipper. And the smallest Scotsman that ever lived, Jock the Nipper. Also the inventor of dentistry, Phil McCavity. And that enigmatic lady from Dumfries, the Mona McLeesa. Now, on the road to the Isles, if you drive round this 40-mile-long stag that's blocking the road here, you can visit the birthplace of lovely Flora MacDonald, the flower of the Hebrides, and the even lovelier Flora MacDougall, the self-raising flower. So if you're looking for a tartan trousers, she's one. I must warn you that once in a while you will meet hostility from the friendly natives. Just because you're English blackguards, who for 7 centuries have cared nothing for Scotland and now plunder our Scottish oil, leaving us mortgaged to the kilt, God-rot English. May they fester with boils in the nethermost regions of hell. You'll never see Scotland in the World Cup after the bloody Sassenachs didn't even reach the last 16. So occasionally, when you ask for a wee dram of whiskey, you may get given a glass of Rory MacDonald's Revenge, which is 1 part of rancid haggis, 1 part of distilled ptarmigan, which begins with a P, and you'll be advised to do the same. And finally, 1 part of stagnant bog water, strained in the trossachs, which is sorely painful. Then he may be asked to drink the health of the great Piper Magroon who was immortalised by the Jewish poet Rabbi Burns. Oh, sleek the Piper Magroon. We're here with the Clan Magroon. Oh, the skull of his pipe, the swell his kilt, and the smell of his breath knocks you down. Well, that's Scotland for the new. And that is the end of the news. Next week, my colleague, Seven Up Jenkins of Wales, will tell you how the filthy English invaders plundered and ravished this fair native sod, took the women from his homestead, the cattle from his farmstead, and the knobs off his bedstead. You filthy Sassenachs, dear. Good night.
What are you doing the rest of your life? North and south and east and west of your life. I have only one request of your life, that you spend it all with me. Seasons and the times of your days, all the nickels and the dimes of your days. Let the reasons and the rhymes of your days all begin and end with me. I want to see your face in every kind of light. Field of dawn and forest of the night. And when you stand before the candles on the cake, let me be the one to hear the silent wish you make. Those tomorrows waiting deep in your eyes, in the world of love you keep in your eyes. I'll awaken once asleep in your eyes. It may take a kiss or two. Through all of my life, summer, winter, spring, and fall of my life, all I ever will recall of my life is all of my life with you.
The sordid affair of the clumsy drug, which had led our two ill-fated detectives to Marseille, was drawing to a close. The villains, one dead and one half dead, were no longer a problem. All that remained now was to get hold of the formula. A difficult, dangerous, but not unpleasant task, bearing in mind that it was written on a pair of panties worn by the woman in the car ahead of them. And Piggy was already bearing it in mind as they gave chase.
She's making for the coast road.
We mustn't lose sight of her.
If she manages to dodge us long enough to destroy the formula, we've had it.
At least we know she can't take them off while she's driving. Can she?
It has been known.
Got her, Chief. She's in there.
What do you mean you got her? I got her. Look, here they are. There's the formula.
Then who? I'm terribly sorry, miss. You see, I was looking for the formula.
Oh, la la. I haven't fought like that since your Miss Patty. Excuse me, I must tidy up. Oh, you will wait for me, won't you?
So you got them, Chief?
Yes, after a struggle, yes. Nearly got my face kicked in.
Where is she now, then, locked in?
No need. Poor kid. She never stood a chance.
Why, what happened?
She hit me with a pillow and it burst. The whole room was filled with feathers. Feathers floating about everywhere.
You mean...
She was tickled to death.
And so, leaving behind them the sleepless nightmare of the past few days, our heroes returned to London, where a new chief of MI6, accompanied by the ever-faithful Miss Willow, waited to greet them.
They're back, sir. I'll show them in.
Oh, how do you do? P.G. Malone.
Charles Farley.
Ah.
Hmm?
I'm up.
Oh? Where's Q?
Gone up.
You've gone sick?
I've gone daft. Anyone would go daft in this job?
Don't worry. Your worries are over. We have found the formula.
What formula?
The clumsy drug, look.
Oh, to hell with that. He's out of date, old boy. There's a new menace now. I don't know where it's going to end. It's sweeping through the country. Famous politicians, TV personalities, anyone in the public eye. I've been looking at these recordings.
Well, what's happened to all these people then?
Look. So ahead of us on Grandstand, we have the Cup Final at Wembley next week, followed by the Rugby League Cup Final the following Saturday, and then a whole week of soccer with the International Football Championship. That's it. Just before I go, by the way, one late football result from Scotland, East 5-5, Forfar 4. That's it from all of us. Goodbye. It's the same on BBC Two, too.
Seeds, and in some cases roots. For instance, the French marigold we grow from seed. And the seeds sown in March, otherwise we get nowhere. And the seedlings are picked into boxes, gradually hardened off, and then planted at the end of May, early June, when the fear of frost is gone.
Do you mean they're all becoming invisible?
As soon as they appear on TV. Wilson's gone, Callaghan's gone, Thorpe's gone.
Well, who's Prime Minister at the moment, then?
Michael Parkinson. Shaw Taylor disappeared a moment ago on Police 5. There's no trace of him.
Perhaps he was stolen. Someone's putting something in the tea. What? Everybody drinks tea when they go to a television studio, don't they? It's the TV tea. Someone's putting something in the television tea.
It's possible, I suppose.
What do you think, Charlie?
That's the only answer. Of course it is, but I mean, why? What's the point?
I don't know. Just to make people look foolish, I suppose, like the clumsy drug.
How can you look foolish if you're invisible?
That's the point. It's got you there, Chief.
Well, feel foolish, then.
Well, I grant you that.
Well, what do you want us to do, then?
We'll start at once. Get out and about. See if you can find a few new contacts.
Right. Well, here we go again. Lots of lovely things to eat and lovely games to play. Greetings to my birthday boy. You're 46 today. Come in, come in. Ah, Arthur Jones. Good morning. How are you? Sit down, and hurry up. I've lots of work to do.
I'm sorry to disturb you, George.
That's quite all right, old lad. Now, come. Don't look so glum. I'm sure it's not that bad.
It's just that I've been thinking, and I've just come in to state, we shouldn't go on using rhymes on cards. It's out of date.
What? Not use rhymes on birthday cards? Come, have you lost your mind? Now, please don't waste my time, lad. You can see my screens behind.
You see, you even speak in verse. It could destroy your health. This thing has gone from bad to worse. I'm doing it myself.
I say, now, there's no need to exaggerate, old chap. I do not always speak in rhyme. That's just a load of rubbish. Birthday cards without a rhyme? No, out of the question.
Oh, well, I thought I'd mention it. It was only a suggestion.
And very welcome, too, I'm sure. It's always nice to know that lads are thinking on the job. Ta-ta, mind how you go.
Well, strike a light of all the nerve. I think it's a disgrace. I know I'm new round here, but still I'd put him in his place. Tell him to take a running jump. Obnoxious little worm.
Now, you be careful what you say. He owns a bleeding firm.
Thank you. The old chair's a bit lumpy tonight. I wish the producer wouldn't stand on it to clean the windows. Now, I suppose you're thinking, why is a BBC television producer... Why is he called a producer? Well, he isn't usually, but why is a BBC television producer standing on a chair cleaning windows? Well, the answer is quite simple. They won't buy him a ladder. You see, it's all part of this ridiculous economy drive, and it is ridiculous when you think that at 5:45 tonight there nearly wasn't any BBC news because Richard Baker couldn't borrow a Daily Mirror. And that the canteen wasn't open today because, as an experiment, it is now being run by the religious department. And there was a hold-up with the loaves and fishes. They really are cutting back round here. For instance, the head of the BBC. Now, the company have always supplied him with the very latest in luxury motor cars, you know. Really prestige vehicles, you know, sort of thing. See-through windscreen and revolving wheels, power-assisted ashtrays, kiss-proof radiator, reclining hubcaps. Do you know... And do you know what he's got now? A hoop. It's a bit hard to believe, isn't it? But do your best. I actually think the shock of it all has been so much for him. Well, last night I was leaving, and there he was, standing in the car park, crying his eyes out. I asked him, I said, what's the matter? He said, somebody's pinched my hoop. I said, well, don't worry. Don't worry, I expect the police will find it in the morning. He said, yes, that's... All right, but how am I going to get home tonight? Anyway, that needn't... I overdid that, I'm sorry, but Anyway, that needn't worry you. It worries us, but it needn't worry you. Here is a very funny story about two ladies who haven't seen each other for years, and they happen to meet, you know, in the supermarket. And one says to the other, how have things been with you? And the other one says, couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. I married a very rich man, she said, who thinks the world of me. She said, why? Only last week he bought me a magnificent ring, enormous diamond, you know. The Star of Golders Green, it's called. By the way, I think you'll like this joke because it is a rich joke, you know. It's got a diamond ring, a yacht, and a holiday in Bermuda. In fact, it only needs 2 birds and a buzzer, and it could be the sale of the century. To be honest, I think, you know, when times are hard, you know, times are a bit hard, people don't want to hear about poverty, do they? I mean, be honest. I mean, actually, I was going to tell you a story which began, there were these 2 down and outs. And I thought, well, you know, most of the audience here tonight could take it personally. I'm only joking. Sit down. And eat the soup. Good heavens. We're all having to make economies these days. I mean, yesterday, I had to cancel my wife's weekly visit to the beauty parlour, which is rather a pity because she's been going there for the last 6 years, and they've just started letting her leave by the front door. But I have never made any secret of the fact that I have known some very hard times, ever since I was a child, when I was found on a doorstep. Not really on a doorstep, because the door opened outwards. I was found halfway across the road. And pinned to my little coat was a note saying, keep your head down, the door opens outwards. Signed, Mummy. It's a bit pathetic, isn't it, really? And come to think of it, so is this joke. But I'm going to tell... Anyway, I'm going to tell it anyway. Where was I up to, by the way? Oh, yes, that's right, I know. One of the two ladies just said, she said, my husband, she said, bought me a wonderful diamond ring. That's where I got up to. Remember? You know, Star of Golders Green. He didn't laugh at it then. Why should he laugh at it? Give you a second chance. She said, I bought a wonderful diamond ring, she said. And the other lady said, that's nice. And he said, and for my birthday, he bought me 2 priceless paintings by Yehudi Menuhin and Pablo Casals. Oh, that's nice, the lady said. She said, I didn't know there were painters. The other lady said, for our money, they paint. Oh, that's nice, she said. And for our anniversary, he bought me my own private yacht, And the other lady said, "Oh, that's nice." Then she said, "My husband's very good to me, too, you know." She said, "He recently paid for me to do a wonderful course at a charm school." So the first one said, "And is it very beneficial to you? Have you benefited?" She said, "Oh, yes," she said, "definitely." She said, "For instance, I now learn to say, 'Oh, that's nice,' instead of, 'Oh, you bloody liar.'" Sue O'Hara is the gal who lives next door. I've known her since times I was 6 and she was only 4. And now that we have both grown up, it's very plain to see. No matter how hard she tries to grow, she's still 2 years younger than me. When we was little scruffy kids, I'd play in my backyard. We didn't have no TV set cause time was awful hard. But when she tried to ask me around her backyard instead, so we could play together, this is what I always said. Don't come around here asking me out. I ain't coming out just to muck about. You'll have to muck about on your own, my dear, cause I'm gonna muck about here. Trundling a truck about, waddling a duck about, I'm gonna muck about here. 10 or 12 years later on, she grew up overnight. Her legs got long and slender and her blouse got awful tight. But when I asked her if she'd like to visit me next door, she only answered, "You're too late, cause now I know what for." Oh, come around here asking me out. I ain't going out just to muck about. You have to muck about on your own, my dear, cause I'm gonna muck about here. I'm not struck about, can't run the muck about, don't give a buck about, folks see around about, let them cluck about, I'm just tucking out, I'm going to muck about here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please welcome our two good friends, the Surprises.
Burning desire that only a kiss can put out the fire. What you're the lover I've been waiting for. You made that fate I've been created for. And every time your lips mine, darling, down and down I go, round and round I go. In a spin, love in the spin, I'm in under that old black magic called love.
Try and buy shoes just like mine. If you get the right shoes, you should get nice shoes. When you got your high shoes, you'll feel fine. Put your left leg out, put your left leg in, put your left leg out, and you shake it all about. You give it all you got the whole night through, and sit down, you put your back out too.
This and that, but she's got a taste for all the things that make her bad. Oh, chock-a-block. We do the roll, malt, rock, cake, cheese, roll, peppermint rock. I rocked her to the left, I rocked her to the right. She said, I like a man who like a rock all night. I took her to the sweet shop, I said, it's all for you. She said, I only like a rock when it's let her right through. Oh, baby, every night we chock-a-block. We do the roll, malt, rock, cake, cheese, roll, peppermint rock. To the cafe for a fancy casserole. The only thing she fancied was the luncheon meat roll. I took her for a picnic, I took her for a stroll. We sat amongst the rocks, but she wouldn't have a roll. Every night we chock-a-block. We do the roll, malt, rock, cake, cheese, roll, peppermint rock. A man said to a barmaid, now mix me a drink, a cocktail made up of whatever you think.
She mixed it, he drank it, and went right cross-eyed, and 3 hours later he came to and cried.
I like to try another like the one I had before. I so enjoyed the last one that I'm coming back for more. The effect is not immediate, but it's worth waiting for. So oblige me with another like the one I had before. Only bigger.
A man sat in the drugstore and he called for the boss. He said, you gave me a pep pill to give to my horse. I put it on the shelf on the wall near my bed. It fell into the coffee pot and I swallowed it instead.
I like to try another like the one I had before. I so enjoyed the last one that I'm coming back for more. The effect is not immediate, but it's worth waiting for. So oblige me with another like the one I had before.
Only stronger.
A man said to a preacher, you recall yesterday, you married me, Mary, and I had to pay. You charged us $2 for plighting our troth, so I've come round to say on behalf of us both.
Wait for it now. We'd like to try another like the one we had before.
We so enjoyed the last one that we're coming back for more. The effect is not immediate, but it's worth waiting for. So oblige us with another like the one we had before. Yes, oblige us with another like the one we had before. Well, that's all we have time for this series. We'd like to thank our resident guests, Swingle 2.
And, of course, Michel Legrand.
In our next series, we're going to look at unusual dances, including the Gay Gordons, the Nice Nigels, and the Queer Christophers.
But here is the late news. We've just heard about the new tax form that the Inland Revenue are bringing out next week. It only has 3 sections. 1, how much money did you make last year? 2, how much have you got left? And 3, send it.
The divorce. The divorce was announced today of John Rupert Prendergast and William Henry Smithers. Breakdown of the marriage was due to incompatibility and a short-sighted vicar.
And Miss Gloria Clegg, who achieved fame last year by marrying in a wedding dress made entirely of chewing gum, was finally separated from her husband last week. Said Mrs. Clegg, thank goodness for that. For the past 3 months, we've been in a very sticky position.
Well, that's all we've got time for this series, so it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.